Hello everyone again, Matt Covert here from howtobecome-a-racecardriver.com. I am fired up, I'm totally on a roll with these videos, and I'm just going to keep on going. So I want to talk to you in this video about performance brake upgrades. Now, if you know me at all, you know I'm not a huge proponent of throwing a lot of money in your race car, especially if you're just getting started, but I want to go over some of the things that people are thinking about when they are upgrading their braking system, because there are gains to be made, some smaller gains. So let's jump right into it. In a previous video, I talked a little bit about autocross versus the track application of different type of braking systems. And in autocross, you don't normally need to do any brake upgrades at all because your brakes never really heat up. And most street pads will be able to handle that kind of thing. The track pads, on the other way, if you're on a racetrack, you're braking for long periods of time. There's often a very short amount of time for the brakes to cool off, and that's the kind of thing that people are trying to mitigate, okay? Not usually a problem in autocross, but let's talk about some of the track aspects of some of these upgrades, okay? And there are a couple things that people do, and I think one of the more oops, wrong way here. I think one of the more popular ones is to start with brake pads. And that makes a lot of sense because they don't cost a whole lot of money to get some new stuff in there, okay? But you're looking for something that can resist brake fade. When brakes get hot, their properties, their abilities to create adequate amounts of friction to stop a vehicle, they just become less and less. And that's called brake fade, okay? So you want a pad that can resist that fading as heat increases. And that's definitely something that you'll want to do. Now keep in mind, usually the better a pad is at resisting fade, the worse it performs in cold weather. Okay, and that's what people overlook when they're looking at autocross pads. Okay, autocross pads never heat up, and people get excited and they go buy performance brake pads and they put them on their car, but they don't work very well. Okay, so you have to let them heat up first, and that's why good drivers will always do a couple warm-up laps around the track just to get everything warmed up and going like that. Okay, brake pads, a good set of brake pads you can get, made for $100, unless you get crazy and want to get something that's probably more brake pad than you would need. Okay, so let's talk about. Oh, I'm going the wrong way again. Let's talk about performance rotors, because you can drop huge amounts of money on rotors. Companies like Brembo. I'm not sure if Hawk actually makes rotors, but Brembo and Willwood is another big one. They have awesome rotors, and you see them all the time on great performance cars like the Mustang GT Track Pack, and a lot of Porsches have Brembos, I think. Audis, they're everywhere. This is because they're awesome. Okay, well, there are a couple different types of performance rotors. Okay, one of them is a slotted rotor, and we'll talk about that real quick. This is a normal rotor from kind of an end view. It's solid all the way around, okay, and that makes it really strong, etc. But a slotted rotor, let's see if I can draw this better, has all kinds of gaps, again, from the end view. They kind of do this and allows air to pass through the center of the rotor. These go all the way down through the middle. It allows air to go through the center of the rotor, and that creates a huge amount of new surface area. Okay, and anytime you add surface area, your ability to cool an object becomes much greater. So what they're doing is they're shedding heat. Plus surface area equals less heat. And that's the problem that most track cars face in braking, is heat buildup. And of course that goes back to brake fade again. Okay, so you're reducing the overall temperature by getting slotted rotors. Okay, those are pretty common. They don't cost a whole lot to acquire. Okay, the other type is a drilled rotor, and this one's going to be a little tougher to draw, but I'm going to try. Okay, so let's see. You have the center. This is just, say, a rotor from the side. Okay, well, you'll be able to see all these little slits that go around, all the way around. They're probably an 1/8 inch deep, all the way around like this. Okay, and from the side, if we look at it from the side surface view, each one of those little slits does this. Okay, so this is what they look like on the side, and this is what they do. Okay, but what they're doing is they're taking this shape. We're looking at this one little section here, taking this shape and then doing this to it. And obviously, you're making it a little bit longer. And when you make this shape, a little scoop shape, for whatever it is, 3 or 4 inches across around all the shoulders, you're adding a lot of surface area as well. So again, it goes back to this: plus surface area equals less heat, and you can fight the brake fade like that. And there are also rotors that have both of these drilled and slotted combo, and those can get pretty expensive pretty quickly. Let's talk real quickly about a couple other littler things that you can do to upgrade your brakes. Steel brake, lines. Okay, you probably hear about these people talking about steel brake lines. Well, I drew a great diagram in the last video, which I will link to. The video is about how brake systems work, and there is, I'll just jump right in. Okay, there is a solid line, brake line, that connects to some type of rubber brake line, which allows the suspension components to move, and that goes to a caliper over here. Okay, well, this section is normally made out of rubber, and it's very flexible. That's its whole purpose. Okay, but the problem with rubber lines is that when you put a huge amount of pressure into the line, the rubber can actually expand outward, and then you lose some of the braking ability of the car. Well, a braided steel line is just a crosshatch of metal. It's a metal sleeve that goes over the rubber, and it keeps it from expanding. So you can pick up a little bit of braking power through these braided steel lines, and they're okay. They're not normally too expensive. They're a pain to put on, though, if you don't like bleeding systems or whatever. And I think I want to talk about one more real quick here, and I want to talk about the brake fluid itself. And I've never done it myself, but I know a lot of people, I've heard a lot, I've read a lot about people who are switching out, as normally it's just .3 brake fluid, but they're going to a synthetic brake fluid, which apparently has better compression resistance than like a normal petroleum-based one. So they're compressing the fluid a little bit less, I guess, and they're saying it has better brake response, and that's probably the cheapest upgrade you can do, is just change the fluid in your braking system. You can probably do it for $4. I mean, it's a pain, but if you're getting results, then, why not? So, and I think I'm going to end there. Yeah, I'm going to end there. I think that's pretty good. Yeah. If you haven't been there, check out the Facebook page. It's where I give updates about the website, and just put motorsport culture stuff on there. It's a pretty cool place to hang out, and I will try to link to that in the notes below the video. And I'm still on fire, so I'm going to go ahead and make another video, and I'll be back in a little bit. Until I do, take care.